welcome back to the show. Now today we're celebrating World Down Syndrome Day and highlighting the incredible work of the Jamaica Down Syndrome Foundation, JDSF. Now joining us today are two passionate advocates, volunteer with the JDSF, Rashima Kelly, and Executive Director for Projects, Nadine Tarawali. They'll be sharing their unique perspectives on inclusion, the importance of understanding, and the JDSF's Lots of Socks campaign, which aims to spark conversations and promote acceptance across Jamaica. We also have Matthew Tarawali and Christina Kelly here repping with their socks and here to tell us all about that. So welcome everyone.
Thank you very much. And good morning.
Yes,
we're all in our socks, all in our socks.
I love that. I want to talk about, first of all, why World Down Syndrome Day is significant and what is the theme this year?
Okay, so World Down Syndrome Day clearly significant because we want to basically do awareness for persons who have Down syndrome and to promote inclusion in society, giving them an opportunity to work if that's possible, because they can live and they can work just like you and I. So when people get to understand that, then there is that acceptance to say, oh, because there's a notion that, oh, it's a death sentence or it is something really, really bad, when it is not. So that exposure, that getting people to understand that it's not a disease, it's a genetic disorder. It is not contagious. Matthew is my brother. I don't have Down syndrome. Yeah. He has Down syndrome. So it is not something that we should be ashamed of. And I know new parents, it can be, I'm not a parent, but it can be frightening finding out that you're going to have a child with Down syndrome. How am I going to cope? How are they going to cope when I am not here? What's going to happen?
The support available.
The support, exactly. So that's what the foundation does. And World Down Syndrome Day is March 21st. And you might think, well, March, it's the third month because the condition Down syndrome means a triplicate of the 21st chromosome. So, and then the 21st chromosome, 21st day.
I love that.
And as you'll see on Rashima's t-shirt, 321. Yes, so that's the significance. And of course, the United Nations supported this initiative because Down Syndrome International basically appealed for the United Nations to celebrate this day from 2012 onward. And of course, here in Jamaica, that is why we're pushing it and we're promoting it.
You know, I like that started by giving us, highlighting some of the misconceptions, you know, and helping us to understand the true reality of what it is, you know. But the Lots of Socks campaign, talk to me about choosing that campaign and choosing that theme for the campaign.
Well, that extra chromosome that makes these gorgeous people extra special, it looks like a socks under the microscope. So what a conversational piece to actually start. So imagine if I didn't know you, you didn't know me, we were in the cafe and just sitting down and you just saw me or any of us come in these socks. You're going to wonder and say, well, why do you have on? And you might even ask and say, well, why are you wearing? And then boom, that sparks the conversation. Well, it represents persons who have Down syndrome. And then you might be, well, what is Down syndrome? And then we get started and then you might have the notion, or even if you knew, you might be wondering, but what are they going to do? They can't. Christina and I were having a conversation inside the room and going and talking about all sorts of things, right? But they can speak. They can do many things. She made tea for Rashima this morning, right? I didn't want a cup of tea, but they can do so many things. Matthew works at St. Joseph's as an artisan. He's been working there for 8 years. I tried to inveigle him to take me out for drinks every now and then.
That's why he offers you wine.
That's why he offers me wine, right? But it just shows that
we enter the Olympics.
We enter exactly.
All kinds of stuff,
if we give them the exposure and we push people to understand that they can be like you and me, then there are no limits.
Well, let me ask you then, how can we, we've heard some of the misconceptions and the challenges, but how can we better support our Down syndrome community and families? How can we better do that?
Well, I think for us, it's important as a community, as family, as friends, to support one through donation. So we do have an account with the National Commercial Bank, and that is on our social channels where persons can get the information to support the Down syndrome community. It's also important, as Nadine said, to be deliberate and intentional, to not treat them any different. You know, I'm very grateful for all the corporates that I have worked with, and a special mention to the Digicel Foundation, who Christina would have worked with for at least 6 months. And to Nadine's point, the fact that they are capable of working, and once they're supported and they're given the right resources, they're able to contribute meaningfully to society.
Yeah, I want you to talk to directly to families who have a family member who has Down syndrome, and you know, I see the pride beaming from both of you, and I want you to just talk to that person now, and just maybe they aren't sure, or they're struggling with how to do that.
Absolutely. The organizations exist. So yes, there is a Down syndrome organization, and for me, it was important to not let Christina feel any different from anybody in the house. She can make her meals, she can take good care of herself. I'll take it a little bit further. I wanted her to go and spend some time with her cousin some time ago in Canada. I wasn't able to go, my parents weren't able to go at the time, and I said, Mom, Christina is okay, she can travel alone.
Yes.
Once you give her the instructions, she will be fine.
Yeah.
And I tell you, we gave her the instructions, we put her money in an envelope, we labeled it, we say, give it to the gentleman who pushes you in the wheelchair, give this to your cousin when you get there, and listen, she didn't miss a beat.
Yes.
She went to Canada and she came back, excellent trip, and she had a good time.
Christina Rose today.
Yes,
Of
yes.
course. I love that.
I love these stories, so because in these stories makes the point that you were making earlier, that there are misconceptions, you know what I mean? And the reality is that these are significant stories. I'm sure you have one, Nadine. Give me one now. One of your stories, I mean, with Matthew.
Oh, well, I mean, what can I say? Which day was it? I had said, as I was saying to Reshima, they're very good hosts. So I came home, I go to my parents every now and again, eat some of their food, you know, as I should, right? And he comes in and he's like, what would you like? Would you like some tea? Would you like Red Stripe? Would you like a bottle of wine? And I'm like, I will take the wine. And he goes, I'm sorry, we don't have wine. Right? But the thing is that one day he asked me and he said, I'd like to take you out because I'm always jeering him. I want to spend his money. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but yes. And I was jeering him and he said, I'm going to take you guys out to the Rock.
That's right.
And I was like, well, I sure am taking my credit card. And we went. We have to be very careful, of course, with his accounts and getting persons to inveigle him. So we went and we ordered. I did not hold back.
Right? I've ordered a steak and something.
No, because I wanted to be invited out more. And the waiter came and asked him, and we asked who is paying the bill. And I said, Matthew, and he presented his card, and he put in his PIN. But we have to allow them to be able to take advantage of those things. And I have to give credit to my parents as well, because they have pushed. And when we have thought, oh my God, especially my dad, he's pushing too much. But now I can stand back and I can say, wow, if he didn't push. Matthew reads the paper from the front to the end. He reads everything. There are times he engages me in politics, which unfortunately I must say I'm very embarrassed.
Matthew should meet my husband.
Not okay. I have to be like, and who is this again? And he wants to vote, and he has pushed and pushed and pushed, and we have gone and got him enumerated, and he voted the last time. He's been to Parliament, and he can name each and every one of them.
Amazing. Yes. The family system is so important.
Very important.
I mentioned to you earlier that my cousin has Down syndrome, and if it wasn't for her mom, who insisted at every step that she had a normal experience for her. She went on to the Olympics, she got married, she's leading a beautiful life. And it all started with the family and allowing them to have that, and then society can follow.
Exactly, because once persons understand that, oh, okay, well, they can have conversations like you and me. Then they begin to get intrigued and they begin to ask them things. And then they begin to realize that, well, listen, they're just like you and me.
How can we find out more about the foundation? Where can people visit online to get more information?
So it's Jamaica Down Syndrome on Instagram, and we are located at 1 Stanton Terrace. That's where the office is, and the phone numbers are also listed there to get information on how you can support, and also how to support and purchase socks in support of World Down Syndrome Day on March 21.
Okay, wonderful. Christina, Matthew, I owe me some food. Take me out. I want to learn about some politics. I want to go travel with you. I feel like you'd take care of me too.
Absolutely.
Guys, thank you so much for
Thank you
being
so
here.
much.
I
Thank you
appreciate
too.
it.
Thank
The
you so
Jamaica
much.
Down Syndrome Foundation supporting and highlighting the amazing people living with Down syndrome. Be sure to support the cause. Go out and get your socks.
Definitely.
There's more Sunrise on the flip side. Stay with us. Me want to go for dinner too.